Let me ask you a question. What are your goals this year? I want to be rich this year. I want to pay the bills. I want to have millions of dollars. Guess what? Your goals are wrong. Setting goals seems to be a great way to give you something to strive for. And there seems to be almost this greedy mindset when it comes to setting goals. Other people see how well you might be doing, and they'll give you, little gentle reminders. Don't work too hard. Don't burn yourself out. One little piece of spaghetti won't hurt your diet. But I'm not here to wax philosophy on that one. I'm here to tell you how to set goals that are proper and efficient for you. Now, your goals should be clear, concise, and have a plan of action to follow through with them. If you're watching this video, your goals are probably closer to the instructions on this pack of noodles than they are to what they should be. You thought the noodles required boiling water, but in fact, they require boiling water. Strike one for not having proper goals. Strike number 2 is not following through with them, but we'll talk about that in a bit. So what can we do to make our goals a little more concise? Well, we can use the SMART goal setting formula. SMART is an acronym that stands for smart, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. Let's start with S, specific. Your goal needs to be exact. How much money do you want to make this year? In the next 5 years? How much money do you want to make in the next 10 years? How much muscle do you want to put on this year? Down to the exact pound. I want to make a boatload of money. That's all well and good, except there's so many different sizes and shapes of boats. Tiny little kayaks and huge ocean liners like the Titanic. And remember, the Titanic sank because the creators didn't specify how many icebergs it could hit before going down. Next up, M, measurable. You should be able to pull up your bank statement and see how much money that you've made this year. Or you should be able to measure different parts of your body to see how much muscle you've put on, or how much weight you've lost, how much fat you've lost. You should be able to determine how many girlfriends is too many girlfriends. Your goals should look more like this clock and less like this clock. Alright, directions. We should put upper layer box onto it and put cover on, wait it for 8 minutes and stir up. Alright, we will just wait for 10 minutes and go ahead and measure it on this clock. If your goal isn't achievable, there's not much point in pursuing it, is there? Your goal should be able to be broken down into smaller steps, ones that you can reach, but maybe are a little bit outside of your boundaries or your comfort zone. It should be attainable. It should be achievable. It should be something that you can reach. Sure, you could spend all day saying, hey, I'm going to make $1 million this year if you've never made $100,000 this year, but I could do the same about finding an actual Space Marine chapter and putting the whole thing together. I wonder if anyone's actually done that, bought the entire Space Marine chapter box and put it all together. If your goal is to do something like grow a YouTube channel, your subscriber goal should be believable, a little more believable than finding the original Polybius machine. Your goals should be relevant. Why do you want to make this much money? What does that have to do with the other life goals that you have? Why do you want the body that you want? Why do you want to get into the shape that you want to get into? Why do you want to break into Fort Knox? What's in it for you? These goals shouldn't be what you've already done in the past or what you plan to do in way the far future. It's smart to think about the future, but you have to plan for the immediate future. How do these goals, these short-term goals that you're setting, work out to your long-term vision for your life? Your goals should be about as exciting as when you finally get to get some food after a long day of hard work. You should be ready to devour those goals. Speaking of devouring, my noodles should be about ready. Oh fuck, I forgot my boiling water. And finally, your goal should be timely. Now, if you have a deadline for your goal, it's a lot easier to actually go and achieve that goal and not procrastinate on it. You know how you wait until the last minute to get those essays done? Well, trust, it's a lot easier to get that last $100,000 of your $140,000 goal for the entire year in December. Now, I'm going to be setting a financial goal, and this is just an example of how to set a goal, and you're getting specific about it, and it's measurable, and it's somewhat achievable, and it's relevant to me, and it's timely. So you will see all 5 of those parts in this goal, and I will break it down exactly how to get there. Now, how to achieve the goal, that's a bit different. A lot of these actually require some form of work of getting off your ass and doing something, but that's for a different time. We will get to that eventually. For now, I will show you exactly how to set that goal so that it's relevant to you, so that it's achievable by you, so it's specific to you. First, you have to know exactly what your ideal life looks like. This is a technique that I get from Dan Locke's book, F You Money. The money, the middle finger. Something that Dan Locke teaches is that you don't need millions of dollars to live the life that you want to live. But you have to know what life that you want to know exactly how much money you should be making in order to live that ideal life. So he guides you through how to do that, how to visualize your ideal life, how to figure out what you actually want out of life, and to break it down into a yearly cost, a monthly cost, a weekly cost. And it's a really simple process once you actually break this down, but you have to sit down and kind of think about it. What do I want out of life? I will share with you some of the things that I want out of life and approximately how much they cost. And you can see exactly what my annual income should be in order to get this life that I want to achieve. So I've got this example that I set up using the technique found in FU Money, and it allows me to kind of break down exactly how I want my life to look and how much it's going to cost. So there's, a few glamour things on here, some things that are, maybe a little unnecessary, so we could cut some of those off, but I'm going to include them anyway because this is my ideal life. This is the life I want. Lamborghini Huracan at 11% interest at $0 down. That works out to about $4,500 a month, about $54,000 per year. Now, why this entry-level supercar at bad rates? Now, I could tell you I've wanted a Lamborghini since I was a kid, but nothing says pay attention to me, I'm an influencer, like a $250,000 car at awful terms. A really nice house with lots of land, about $1 million, 8% interest with $200,000 down, $6,500 a month, which works out to about $78,000 a year. Now, I want a place to entertain. I want lots of land so that my closest neighbors are a good mile away so they can ignore my parties and I can ignore their parties. We don't have to worry about each other. I want to be close enough that I can have access to fiber internet so I don't have to worry about the awful satellite internet that I have been subject to before. And I want a place that I can expand, that I can build another house or two so that when my parents or my family get old, I don't have to, worry about them being in a nursing home or a retirement home or something like that. I can let them retire with dignity, be old with dignity, still live out their final years in a nice house. Maid service for about $600 a week, which works out to about $31,000 per year. I am very lazy. I hate cleaning my house. Let someone else do that and I'll pay them for it. A new and unique vacation for my family every 90 days. Works out to about $10,000 every 90 days, $40,000 per year. New clothes for me and my family, $1,000 per month, $12,000 per year. A game room, which I estimate will be about $20,000 to set up and another $1,000 per year to upgrade and to buy games for and stuff like that so I can have people over. We can do LAN parties. You don't have to worry about bringing their computers, stuff like that. A traditional game space so that I can spend money on Warhammer models, pay to have them painted expertly, buy new terrain, buy the dumb big models like the Titans and the Beyblades and stuff like that. See, I'm smart with my money, so that way I can be dumb with my money. I estimate this will be about $9,500 per year. A third hobby room, this one is for airsoft. New uniforms, new rifles, being able to develop brand new prototype rifles and stuff like that. I estimate, again, about $8,000 per year. My usual bills and utilities, about $50,000 per year. Shows and concerts around $6,000 a year. That way I can go solo watch Hamilton twice in 1 year. And then the last bit is just buy whatever I want money at about $100,000. That way I have this allowance that, if I see something that I fancy, I'll just go buy it. I don't have to worry about that. So all of these goals add up to $389,700 per year, which is quite a far shot from $1 million. Now, maybe when I reach this financial goal of mine, I can add a yacht to it, name for that, or something like that. But this is relevant to me. This is my ideal life. This is what I want out of life. And we've come up with a specific number that I should be aiming for every single year. If you take some time to think about the life that you want and break it down into your ideal life and break down the costs of that ideal life, you now have a specific goal to you as well. So now that you have your annual income goal, you have a specific number for your ideal life. Let's make it measurable. You need to break it down into quarterly goals, into monthly goals, into weekly goals, into daily goals, into hourly goals. And that way, if you want to live this life working just 8 hours a day for 5 days a week for all of the weeks in the year, you need to break it down and find out exactly how much that is. So let's take my goal, $389,700 every year. If I break that down every month, it will be $32,500. Every week, about $7,500. Every day, about $1,500. Every hour, if I work 8 hours in the day, $190. If I wanted to break that down into how much I should be selling. So if I sell a product and I make $100 profit off of it, so that is the total cost of it minus the expenses. I make $100 off of that product. I should be aiming to sell about 75 of those every week. So how do we make that achievable? Let's go to my goal as an example. That $389,000 per year. How do I get to that point? My highest annual income, not including vast amounts of overtime that I've worked, has been around $75,000, $80,000 a year. And how do I add another $300,000 to that? Well, maybe if I start at a lower number first, maybe if I aim for 100,000, where I can still drop fat stacks at the club, but it's still a believable number. I believe I can add another, 1/4 of my income to my total income. Then that is a lot more believable for me. And then once I reach that income level, now I can go to the next step, maybe 150,000, 200,000, 300,000, keep building on top of that. Is your goal relevant? Well, when you broke down that goal in the specific step, that goal became relevant to you. It's your ideal life. It's exactly what you want out of life. The relevancy for me is I want to entertain friends. I want to throw some dice. I want to go pew-pew and play soldier. And I want to do it in a really nice house. So that goal is specific. That is relevant to me. Finally, is this goal timely? So if you don't believe you are going to achieve that goal, if it's not attainable, if it's not achievable for you, then you can set that as a longer term goal and in the meantime set a more realistic goal. It should still be a little bit outside of your comfort and believability zone. So if you are making $80,000 a year now and you think you can reach $100,000, maybe aim for $120,000 a year. That's a little bit out of your achievability or your believability zone. And that is a goal you can set in the meantime. And then once you reach that goal, you can move on to the next step in that. So if you take all these steps, we're almost ready to put our goal together. But let's look at a few more tips before we do. The language we use can be incredibly powerful, motivating to how likely we are to achieve our goals. We all have wants, wishes, desires, but if we use more affirming language, it's more likely that we will pursue our goal and move to achieve it. So instead of saying, I wish I had this, or I want this, or something like this, use I am, or I will. Something like that. So if we're talking about our financial goal, I will make 100,000 by the end of this year. Next, this goal should be really exciting for you. It should get you stoked. It should get you wanting to work long hours into the night, into the early morning. Your goal should be to your brain like gender reveal parties are to the Great Hills of California. It should ignite that inferno. Burn your goals to a fucking crisp, alright? I mentioned before that your goals should be a little bit outside of your believability or a little bit outside of your comfort zone, and that could be a little daunting. So if we use the word easily in our goal setting, it can add a bit to that, a bit of believability that we can actually achieve that goal. So that's something that we should do. So now we have the step-by-step. We can put it all together in one big cohesive goal. Here's my financial goal for the year 2019 before a layoff shoved a stick into the spokes of my goal and caused me to trip over my own face. I will easily increase my income to $140,000 by December 31st, 2019, all while working less and providing more value. Now you can see all parts of that goal. I will easily increase my income. So I have a goal. I will increase my income. To what? Specifically, $140,000. So that is specific. That is measurable. Is it achievable? Well, I was making around $75,000, $80,000 a year. I was on what was called unit rate. So every project that I completed, I would make money for it. And I was automating my job at the time. So the more I automated, the faster I could work, the more I could get paid. I think I could have easily reached $140,000 that year if I hadn't been laid off in January. Is it relevant to me? It would have increased my income. It would have allowed me and my family to live more comfortably. It would have allowed me to, buy some gadgets and to pursue the things that I wanted to pursue. Of course, it was relevant to me. Is it timely? It had a goal of December 31st, 2019. So I had the entire year to work on that, specifically the automation, to get my income up to that level. So now we have this very specific goal. Very specific to you, very measurable to you, very attainable to you, very relevant and timely to you. How do you achieve this goal? Well, that is up to you. You need to take actions relevant to that goal. Did you decide to make $200,000 this year? What $200,000 per year actions are you taking to achieve that goal? Did you commit ancient mania to get the big muscles? It's up to you to actually follow through with those actions. So we'll have more later this year on actually following through and achieving your goals, these systems and processes that you can set up to actually follow through on those goals and make progress on them. Because it seems like what we do is we'll set a goal and then forget to actually work on the goal and, follow through to achieve it. So we'll have more information on that, more helpful advice on that, overcoming self-doubt, overcoming imposter syndrome, improving your self-disciplines, priming your workspace to actually work, stuff like that. So if you're interested in learning from the #1 world's best person on this topic, please like, subscribe, share, beg YouTube to keep my channel trending on every single topic. Thanks, and good luck out there, fellas.